Good morning, teacher. We are going to present our final project about error analysis. It was developed by Carla León and me, Abigail Garrido. First, what is error analysis? It is described as a set of procedures to identify, describe, and explain learners' error. I continue with the second slide. Here, I present data collection that it is about the writing tool, where the students was analyzed about Ecuadorian culture, where we can find some errors in the writing. In the slide number 3, we have the types of errors. In this case, we can find 3 types: semantic, morphology, and syntax. The most common errors students make are based on this type of errors. And in the first sentences, we are going to start with analyzed. In the first sentences, we can find a semantic error because the students did not identify that come is a static verb. Therefore, the inflectional morpheme ing could not be added. Also, it is an intralingual error because it is a grammar error in the language. In the number 2, we have in these sentences is consider. It is a morphology error and interlingual error. The students makes the mistake by not taking account the grammatical role in the second verb, in this case, consider. The correct grammatical rule was to use the prefix ed at the end of the verb. And on the other hand, I suppose that the students made a negative transfer, el1, because he or she writes the sentences in English as he thought it in Spanish and makes an interlingual error. In the number 3, in this case, we have the word thought. It was identified that there is a very common error, which is syntax error spelling in the word thought. The students write thought by describing the last consonant D instead doubling the vowel O, that the correct is foot. In the number 4, finally it is an intralingual syntax error. The students make punctuation and capitalization errors in the analyzed sentences. Final it, for which is correct to use a comma after the word finally and remove the capitalization in the word it. In this case is finally, comma, it, but remove the capitalization. In the number 5, well, that is all I can remember. Here we can find the errors. It is a syntax error, intralingual. The students make punctuation, capitalization, and spelling errors. It is correct to use a comma after the word well and remove the capitalization in the word that. And finally, the word remember contains a spelling error. He or she writes the consonant N instead of the consonant M. So here I press errors in the words.
Hello Ale, today I am going to explain you the activity that we are going to put in practice with our students. Okay? The interaction is in groups. They are going to work in groups because they are going to participate and they are going to put in practice their speaking and also the grammar and the different skills that we have in English. Also, the sociocultural is shared with the class. DE give examples and interact in English language. Cognitivist A2.2 learners and CF modeling. DE implicit techniques. In this activity, these students are going to, recognize and identify the different words that we have. The first activity they are going to do is the teacher is going to stick on the board subject pronouns and 20 words about different topics. Teacher, before the activity, cuts the words in syllables, and students are going to choose the correct syllables and create a word. Then, students are going to spell in each one word. In this activity, they are going to know how they write the words, and also they are going to recognize the syllables and also the words that they are going to write, and they are going to create a word. Then teacher presents the present simple and explain the rules, when they are going to use. In this tense, the most important rule is the use of the s in the third person of the singular. First, teacher showed the students the flashcards about personal pronouns. You know the personal pronouns are he, she, it, we, you, and they. Second, students choose one personal pronoun and one word. They are going to create a sentence. For example, she remembers to her grandma. In this example, students use the structure of the present simple, the s, because we have the third person. This is she. Third, students are going to read a little tale, and they are going to correct the punctuation marks. They need to identify the capital letters when they are going to use the capital letters, points and commas according what they read. Okay? Now I have the adaptation activity. Activity from web page. During the classes, we need that students improve their knowledge, and also we need extra materials that in which the students put in practice the class that we learned. Okay, in this case, we choose one worksheet of light worksheets. In this activity, students are going to use rules about present simple. They are going to read and identify first the personal pronoun, then they will write the correct verb, and they need to add s in the verbs according the rule. Okay, do you remember? In the present simple, we need to add the s when we have the third person of the singular. Students are going to work in pairs, and they practice speaking because they need to read and complete each sentence. In this activity, students read one sentence. For example, student 1 read the sentence number 1, student 2 read the sentence number 2, student 3 read the sentence number 3, and they are going to complete with the correct verb. They need to remember the rules that we most applied in the present simple. In this case, is the letter S. Finally, we have the last activity. In the second part of the activity, students are going to read and complete the punctuation marks. They need to remember, okay, and they are going to use, for example, the capital letters at the beginning of the sentences. They need to put, or they need to write the commas, the points, according that we have in the tale or in this example. Okay? In this activity, I choose this activity because we can find some errors about the present simple Also, the writing of something, words, for example, coming, consider, also food, you can see in here. For this reason, we, Abby and me, choose these activities because we think that these activities are very important to students improve their language and they use in a correct way. That's it, Ale. We have the references in here. And thank you so much. Enjoy your day and see you. Thank you, Ale. Bye bye.